Ram, good morning.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, you're
Very
quite
good.
audible.
Very
Yes, you're audible.
Thank
So I again take this opportunity to welcome all the delegates present here for today's conference being hosted by OGTC. I'm Ashima Anand from Lady Urban College. Now this session will be continued to be chaired by Mr. Upal. He is here and is always supporting in the endeavors of OGTC. It's our pleasure to welcome you, Dr. Ram. A very, very warm welcome to you. Sir, over to you, Tony, sir. Tony, sir, can you hear me? So I think there is some glitch over here. So let me introduce.
Sorry,
yeah. You are here. Thank you. So over to
Dr. Ram Singh. Dr. Ram Singh is a professor and head MDP at Indian Institute of Foreign Trade with over 25 years of teaching experience. He also holds master certificate in SCM and logistics from Michigan State University, USA. He specializes both in training and research in areas such as export-import procedure, trade policy, and trade logistics. Dr. Ram Singh is directly involved in training of Indian Trade Service and Indian Revenue Service providers. Thank you for being here. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you very much for kind words of appreciation. My deep appreciations first to OGTC for invite. My gratitude to Madam Ashima and especially to Tonisa for hosting this session in a very organized manner. My deep appreciations to previous speaker to whom I was just attending, Madam Oja. She was covering beautifully the various aspects which are related to environmental and sustainable, development of RMG sector. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take this journey forward. It's your time. Feel free to ask, to write any questions, because it is only the discourse, discussion, and deliberation that can take our our development agenda of our RMG sector forward. So with these words of request to all of you, let us start. So I have 20 minutes and I'll first bit in initial 2 or 3 minutes, first would like to involve everybody into discussions. That's usually a habit of a professor, to take everybody along. So ladies and gentlemen, good morning to each one of you. Let us start. So when we talk about market access, dear friends, there are two things that we need to factor to. So these are, when we have to enter to a particular market with our garments or with our textiles or with our apparel, there are two types of challenges that as an exporter we face. Ladies and gentlemen, first being tariff being applied by the destination country. Second, non-tariff measures. I call it, one is a visible enemy to whom you can identify, for which there are, instruments available and there are no instruments available, but you can see the enemy that which is creating a barrier, which is restricting your attractiveness of your products in the destination market. Ladies and gentlemen, second is a invisible enemy, which you cannot see, for which Madam Oja was beautifully covering various aspects which are related to. For example, she was giving various examples which are related to non-tariff measures. I'll take this journey forward for you. So when we say tariff barrier, these are basically a revenue generating instruments for any government of India, in order to ensure the balanced economic development of our country, would like to apply certain tariff. We pay import tariff, we pay tariffs on what we call petroleum products, or GST, various types of tariff we pay. On traded products, we pay custom duty plus IGST plus additional duties plus various kinds of cesses, then anti-dumping, then safeguard duty, variety of duties. A buffet is very large, depending on what will be applicable to a particular product or goods originating from a particular country, whether they're causing a harm to our country or not. All those aspects are considered. So let us not go into that. They're more transparent. When I say transparent, you can see them. And ladies and gentlemen, these are basically aimed at I mean, encouraging the domestic industry, and you say restricting the import from foreign country. Our country is doing it. We want to make in India. I mean, self-reliant India. We want to make क्या कहते हैं हमारा self-dependent India. Various schemes we are running in. PLI is one of them. Various other schemes are there. So purpose is very simple: make the imports unattractive to the local customer. That's the whole agenda. But non-tariff barrier, on the other hand, let me take only 2 minutes just, and they do not bring any kind of revenue, invisible enemy, but they are far more dangerous. They may be specific to a country, maybe specific to a product, maybe specific to a process, maybe, and usually many times you will find flimsy grounds on which they are being imposed. When I say flimsy grounds, for example, today in the morning, I got a call from one of my students who is based in Oman, and he had imported from India what we called during Durga Puja days. Lot of the ladies in India, they usually practice brath, and large number of migrants had migrated to Oman, Indians. There is a vibrant Indian diaspora. So अमरंथ के लड्डू जिसको हम लोग चलाई के लड्डू भी बोल देते हैं, या सिल के लड्डू भी, इन द लोकल लैंग्वेज वी कॉल इट एज सिल के लड्डू, चलाई के लड्डू, या कुछ इस तरीके से, which usually ladies, in order to keep themselves energetic, we usually eat it. And he has imported a consignment. I do not know how he has committed that mistakes. He should have, done the due diligence prior to import. And this silka laddu is very close to another item which is restricted. I mean, there is no problem with silka laddu. This consignment is forfeited, and this person is now invited by Omani customs. He was at a custom stations requesting me to find out ways and means in the morning today only, that how he can come out of this crisis. Actually, we know that in Islamic countries, there are very strict measures per se, alcohol or anything which is, I mean, alcoholic in nature. For example, afim, opium. Opium has got a powder which is very popular in India called posto. Posto, if you see posto, or isko hum log bol dete hain khaskhas, in local language we call it a khaskhas. Khaskhas and amaranth, or what we call silka laddu, or they're very, very close. I mean, if you are importing even amaranth in Oman, which is very similar to, so they thought that it is a consignment of what we call khaskhas. Khaskhas, since it is coming from opium, so he was in problem. So I say you just request them to go for test, because that's the only way that which will provide a scientific evidence, and you bear the whole cost. And you say even then you will be willing to surrender this consignment. When you win their trust, you will be able to. So sometime you'll find flimsy grounds, and which I will discuss for RMG sectors also. Non-tariff barrier, basically not to allow import. India has done it during 2020. Many cases we called it as omnibus rules, then carrot-or rules. A variety of measures are brought by government of India to make what we call make in India successful. So ladies and gentlemen, these are variety of tariff barrier. I will not speak much on that because theory need not to be discussed, but just for you people, because I want to take everybody along. And this is a variety of buffet of what we call non-tariff barrier, usually based on what we call as UN MAST, that is a United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, MAST, which is a multi-agency study group, which is study team, which they have designed it. It's their variety categories are there from A to P, which are applicable. And let us take this journey forward from here. So let us start from here. So when we say Indian RMG products face a tariff barrier. So let us first understand what is the global market, because unless you understand the global market, you will not be able to. Ladies and gentlemen, largest buyers of textile and garments, and let us take 3 chapters only, chapter 61, 62, 63, because otherwise chapters start from 50 to 63. If you see overall textile sector, but those are usually raw material, yarn, maybe cotton, maybe silk, maybe even coir products, maybe some other kind of products. But let us be very specific to the audience and to the discussion for which we are here. So chapter 61, 62, 63, 3 chapters analysis if you do, which is basically textile items, apparel items, garments, variety of products, which we usually all of you finished textile products. 40%, imagine that's a quantum of size. God bless all of us. 40% of market size lies with EU country, which is 20 grouping of 27. And if you take UK along, it become maybe 40 to 43%. 21% almost is with United States. So put together, it is almost 65%. And if you take USMCA, which is Canada and Mexico, which is one harmonized economic grouping, if you take it, it may be some around 66-68% of the total market size. So let us, because रहीमन मूल है सींचबो, एक बहुत कहावत है हमारे, एक है सादे सब सदे और सब सादे सब जाए. Let us first focus on critical mass or Rahiman Mule Sinchbo fundamentals. By 100% means 65% markets, two groupings which offer you harmonized systems, standardized systems of doing business. One governance model, if you apply, one kind of standards, if you can apply, you will be able to get as much as around 67 to 68% of world market. Unfortunately, Indian products, we do not have any FTA with them. And our competitors, especially, for example, in 2020, EU has signed a, what we call a textile agreement with Vietnam, almost 9% or 10% tariff, which is applicable on us, is not applicable on them. If you see the cumulative impact, it will be even more than 10%, 11%, something like that. But 9% is the basic duty, which is otherwise applicable. So Vietnam does not pay. For Bangladesh, luckily, there is a GSP benefit. So half the duty, I mean, maybe they get a tariff preference, maybe 50%. If it is 11%, maybe 5.5%. For Sri Lanka. And even China has got, directly do not have got any FTA, but have got various other arrangements, if not specific to EU market, but various other arrangements to participate. Its industry is vibrant. I mean, very big in size. China works on scale, on synergy, on system, on sophistication, and these are the things. And they have a scope. When we say they have a scale, they have a system, they have a sophistication, they have a size, I mean, they will have a scope. So let us not compete with China, because they're extremely vibrant. So one of the major problem with us is that we do not enjoy the kind of relationship that which our competitors, especially Vietnam, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, other countries also. Turkey has got a big market, especially if you see carpets and all that, those segment. Turkish has, I mean, eaten away the big market size in European Union. In addition to that, there are LDCs, specific LDCs, to which under WTO S&D clause, a differential treatment is being offered, and rate of duties are low. As a result, they affect our market. So, ladies and gentlemen, US is same. In US, after the Trump administration, duties has become as high as 20%. In certain cases, duties are maybe 10%, but there are specific duties also. So let us factor that also. And whichever is higher, the clause is whichever is higher. So if 10% is less, they will go maybe for a specific duty, which will be having an impact of 15%, 14%, 18%. And that's too much of a duty in a developed country, where duty used to be very low at one point of time. But last few years, we have seen duties are being escalated as a result of trade war, because of trade deficit, which is ever widening, ever growing in United States of America, and they have to take certain measures in order to protect their domestic market. And they want to encourage trade, maybe through other instruments to reciprocate certain countries like Vietnam, like Mexico, primarily to Mexico, and also to Central American country, to which they want to offer a tariff preference. But India is not in an advantageous situation per se that. So, ladies and gentlemen, even beyond that, even wherever, so let us leave this 67%, wherever we have signed FTA. For example, we have signed FTA with the ASEAN countries, we have a APTA agreement, then we have a agreement with other trade partners like Japan, which is a vibrant market. 2.5% of world textile goes there, maybe small in size, but very attractive. We are, or South Korea, for example, we have signed FTA. But our people, number one, in many cases, we do not enjoy tariff preference. I mean, attractive tariff preference. If we enjoy, we do not know how to comply with rules of origin. I mean, rules of origin, that's something that we need to work at the back end in order to improve. Yarn forwarding rule is another area that we need to integrate in our future FTA negotiations to take this journey forward. So dear ladies and gentlemen, let us now move towards NTM. When we say NTM, we have discussed mainly three broad areas which are affecting our RMG sectors are safety standards, labor standards. You see a factory in Sri Lanka, there never used to be a labor standard at one point of time, but because of some factory incidents, maybe 10-12 year backs, now labor standards are in place. Same is applicable to our country. Environmental standard, madam was talking about azo dye, which is very old example. I mean, in addition to that, water treatment, when you dye your products, there is issues which are related to environment. So how your process or your product is causing harm to fauna and flora. That's the whole essence. And sometimes there may be reasonable grounds, many times there may be a flimsy grounds just to restrict and just to create a technical standard to restrict the import from a particular country. And India has been at the receiving end. When I say RMG sector is concerned, textile sector is concerned, we are a vibrant domestic industry. We are one of the largest producers, one among the largest producers of textile, very cheap labor force, but we want to focus on whole value chain. As a result, we cannot understand where to focus, and resultantly we become a supplier of raw material rather than becoming a supplier of use of the finished products. So ladies and gentlemen, in the whole point about tariff and non-tariff barrier is to develop a enabling ecosystem within India at a policy level and as well as at an operational level. First, at a policy levels, when whatever future I mean FTA we sign, whether we have signed it with UAE and Australia very recently, and we are in process of signing with EU. We are negotiating with the UK. We are in process of discussions, negotiation with Israel, many trade partners. Let us focus to have a harmonized system. So we can educate at back end people that these are sometime rules of origin say 35% value additions. The change in tariff will be at a either at a subheading or at a tariff line or at a heading level. That create a confusion in the minds of exporter. Exporters should be provided a harmonized system, and that can be developed by creating a specific annexure at a 6-digit level, which is the most commonly accepted harmonized standard across the world. If you see, okay, so then building capacity back home. I mean, first, if this is achieved, then we need to educate our trading community. I know our trading community is very vibrant, but they need to be offered a standard solution. You cannot offer them a buffet of, I mean, a big buffet of policy instruments which they are never able to understand. Businessmen should be given a level playing field to focus on his core process of manufacturing, innovation, labor management, factory management, winning order, executing order, realizing payment. Those are the core business issues. When as a policy makers, we should offer him a level playing field. When we say level playing, one option, that's all. This is what you have to do. If you do this, you will get market access in all the countries. But we are confusing our own trading community. And for that, we can do not only a trade database as we have at IIFT, but we can go even beyond. We can develop specific cases to educate, because with cases you can educate to the industry better rather than what I say. Discussing it at this standard is applicable or that standard is applicable. We can design specific cases for certain area of concerns, which may be related to labor, which may be related to rules of origin, which may be related to what we call yarn forward rule, or maybe other issues which are related to environment, protection of fauna and flora, and can educate our trading community to engage better with outside world. So this is all from my end. Questions are welcome. I will try my level best. If I cannot, I will go to rule book, but certainly revert you back. That's the promise we make at Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ram Singh, for enlightening us. Certainly your points are well taken. The industry is aware of these things. One of the big thing is the solution. And I think that's where things become very complicated. We are a country of many rules, and that ends up making things more complicated than solving the issues. We certainly feel right now, when India is talking about being the manufacturer for the world, certainly what you are saying will be considered, will be, and hope, accepted and made effective to run the industry. But whatever you said, without that, no country in the world can actually become a world manufacturer. Certainly, I hope we will be requesting you from time to time, where AEPC, we would probably take your points and try to present it as an association to the government, how we could take this forward. Thank you for coming. Certainly, I'm sure your advice on many issues will come to a great help, and certainly connect with you soon. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure connecting. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Uppal, for your concluding remarks. And thank you so much, Dr. Ram, for such an engrossing presentation, as well as very, very organized presentation. I thank all the delegates present here for the session. Now I request you all to please join our next presentation by clicking on the tab. This presentation will be delivered by Mr. Ajay Sardana. Thank you so much, everyone.